Hello. Like many of you, like I, will have grown up in a simpler time. Nowadays, everything's so complicated. Like, if I don't respond to my WhatsApp messages within a day, people freak out. Why didn't you reply? And it's like, leave me the fuck alone, please. And I feel constantly bombarded with notifications, like it's kind of my second job to answer all of these messages and read all the bloody group chats and read all my emails. I'm like, fuck me. Can you imagine if I also scrolled through social media or followed people on Instagram or paid attention to people's Facebook profiles? I would literally spend all my day, a lot of my day, more than I'd like, looking through and just trying to get through the notifications. So thank bloody God I don't scroll through social media. But today we're talking about being bombarded with notifications. It really can't be good for us. And what I've been doing over the years to overcome this. All right. So in 2018, I was doing my A-level exams, and I remember sitting down at the dining room table. I call it the dining room, but Gal never dined there. And also, it was just a table, essentially. It was a table that could have been used as a dining room table, but never was used in that way. So, yeah, I sat down there and I was revising for my A-level exams. And I had my phone on the side next to me, and I just remember it constantly going off and it vibrating and going ping, ping, ping. And I was like, oh my God. So I turned it off completely. Not the phone. I turned off the notifications, as in it made no noise. And even when it's on silent, it doesn't vibrate. No. So most people's phones, when they're on silent, will still vibrate. But you can specify on the settings to turn that off. And I did that in 2018. It's 2023 now. And guess what? I'm living the dream. Because I really don't like being interrupted, which is kind of ironic because I do work as a doctor, but I think that's kind of where I get it from. I'm a bit like, I'm interrupted all the time at work. I don't want to be interrupted at home. I get annoyed when I'm doing something and someone like the postman, I know it's their job, I get it, but they want a bloody signature and I'm like, leave me alone, please. Or somebody knocks on the door, or, I'm doing something and somebody just keeps interrupting me. So I'm not a person who likes being interrupted. Being called unannounced is 100% not my vibe. I will regularly not answer, and I do that on purpose. Usually I don't see it because I don't look at my phone and it doesn't vibrate. So the only time I'll ever see a call is if I'm expecting it, is if I've got my laptop open and it's the volume's on because it comes through my laptop, and then I hear that and then I go, oh shit, my phone's ringing. Or if I don't know if I said this, or if my phone is on loud, which is rare, very rare, or if it's facing upwards and next to me, again, fairly rare. It's usually, I don't even know, oh, it's down there at the moment. I don't keep a track of my phone. It doesn't stay in my pocket. It does its own thing in the house. It's regularly on its own, and often my phone will be like, oh, you haven't done any steps today. I'm like, yeah, bitch, I wasn't carrying you around, so you don't know, actually. And I don't go by the steps on that because I do have it when I'm walking around outside. But the other time I will hear my notifications is when I have my headphones in, which again, fairly rare, because it'll interrupt, or if I'm in my car. Okay, there's more situations than I realised. But people rarely ring me, and the people that do ring me are people that I don't really want to speak to. So I probably do answer, but I have a terrible phone voice. I sound like I want to kill myself, and that's probably because I don't want to be on the phone. I don't mind if I called somebody, which is kind of selfish, I know. But I'm sorry, I'm just being honest, all right? I don't like it when people call me. In fact, I have a friend who, you can't call her. She just will never answer. I don't know why. Maybe she's a bit like me. She just won't answer it because she's like, she'll just, even if she sees it, she'll watch it ring. And I know a lot of people like that. And the only time I really answer my phone, sometimes curiosity does kill the cat, and I do want to know who it is. It's a number that I don't recognise. If it's someone that doesn't usually ring me, I will answer. I'll be like, oh, why are you ringing me? But as a general rule, I actually have a lot of missed calls, and I have that bloody sick, it's amazing, visual voicemail on my phone. Love, love, love. Because I hated. Do you remember the times I used to call voicemail up and you used to have to go through it? Ugh, gross. No thanks. Now you just look at it, play it. I often listen to the first, few seconds and then delete it because I don't care. I'm sorry, I hate people ringing me. But I also get very frustrated with the amount of notifications I have. So, I was going to go back in time here, all right, because I think it's always fun to have a little nostalgic story, isn't it? I remember, number one, we grew up, okay, us 90s kids, 90s in particular, or maybe, probably not actually, 90s, 80s, 90s. We grew up in a very weird but great technological time. In fact, I think we hit the technology timing on the fucking head. We did it so well. We were, conceived and birthed at exactly the right time in, humankind timeline. And because we're not so young that we're constantly glued to our phones and we're like obsessed. I mean, some people are, but we're, the like people that were born in, gross, but like 2005, like gross, 20 something year olds, they have grown up where phones are just normal. And 2005 onwards. And the people before us grew up in a time where maybe let's go back, 1960 and previous to that. They grew up in a time where by the time technology came around, they were sort of not really bothered, like they didn't really care, or they were kind of at an age where they didn't really want to learn it. Like my dad has no fucking idea how to turn on a computer, and that is not even an exaggeration. I don't even think he'd know where the on button is. And he has no desire to learn how to use one. And some old people are jumping on that bandwagon, but a lot are not. And a lot of people, we learn IT in school. And if it weren't for the time that technology coincided with us being young, we would, be in that age group where we don't know what we're doing with a phone. And, we're like, what's going on here? But, I learned how to, use Excel spreadsheets. I love it when they put on a job description, must be proficient with computer IT systems like Microsoft and Microsoft Office. And I'm like, I just can't, I can believe that people don't know how to use it, but it is also kind of weird, isn't it, that people don't know how to use it. And that's, I still remember the first iPhone coming out when I was probably 14, I want to say. Maybe it came out sooner, but I remember the first person I knew getting an iPhone. And I remember it being like the craziest thing that you'd ever seen. Like the fact that you could pinch and zoom and pinch out. That I remember that being like the most exciting thing in the world. And I was like, oh my God, this is wild. But because before you just look at paper and you'd be like, okay, I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to zoom out. But now you had this dynamic piece of equipment. And before we had phones that were just buttons. And now they turn into a screen. The new smartphone was born. So I didn't get a phone until I was 11, and it was a Nokia 3310. It had no credit on it. I could do almost nothing with it except, number one, receive calls and texts, that's two, and play Snake. And that was about it, and probably murder somebody with it because it was so, indestructible. So that thing was just on my person for literally no fucking reason whatsoever, because nobody ever called me and nobody ever texted me. I think it was so that my mum could call me, but she never did. I guess maybe I could call emergency services with it, because you don't need to have credit or signal in this country anyway to be contacting emergency services. God, we're really taking a little trip down little history trip down story lane here. And then I still remember, floppy disks and VHS, the like big fat videos you got. And I remember downloading stuff illegally on LimeWire, and you'd have to put it all onto your iPod. And I couldn't be bothered to do that, so I would go round to other people's and I would steal their music. They put in all the effort, and I would be like, can I download your music onto my iPod? And I had an iPod, I can't remember what it's called now, but it was like a classic and it was fucking massive. I never filled the thing up. Held like 20,000 songs or something. Even on my Spotify now I have only like 1,500. But there we go. I had that, and they don't make them anymore. I mean, they don't make iPods, do they? I don't know. Is that what they're called now? They don't make iPods, I think. I think they make iPod Touches, but they're like really, they're kind of like tiny iPads. They're not like iPods as we know them, where you had to like scroll round with your thumb to get to the next song. And yeah, it was just and then it was a really simple time. It really was. You didn't have, the only notifications I had was when I went home and I signed on to MSN, or I had MySpace at one point, and also had Bebo, and then Facebook came out. But you would never you'd have to log on to a computer. Thankfully, by the time Facebook and stuff came out, broadband, internet broadband had gone. That was what it sounded like. That wasn't a very good impression, actually. I just don't understand that. Like, why did it make that noise? Who knows? But it was the soundtrack of the late 90s, early noughties. And you also we didn't have mobile phones. We had fucking phones attached to the wall. Landlines, am I right? And obviously you could only call people at home. And you couldn't be on the phone and be on the internet. It was a great time to grow up in. Like, I know everybody's is always going to say that about their time that they grew up in, but I do think it was a great time to grow up in, because we grew up as simple children. Like, children that had still simple childhoods, like from the age of 0 to 10. But then we had the benefits of technology and modern science and modern medicine and things like that as we grow up. So we, in some ways, in that way anyway, like when we haven't benefited from other things, let's say a housing market, mainly controlled by boomers, and we probably won't benefit from NHS healthcare. So, there are pros and cons. We will, in our, the time when we need healthcare, we'll probably have to pay for it. But also, I was going to say we had free dentistry, but they're still available to kids now, but I don't know how easy it is to get. But yeah, I remember going to the dentist. That was a good time. Always got a sticker. I loved getting a sticker. They were like this big. That was the best thing about going to the dentist. You get a fucking sticker. I also weirdly kind of liked the smell of the dentist, which I don't know if that's like a normal thing, but I kind of liked it. It doesn't smell like hospital. You might think, oh, well, you like the dentist smell. Maybe you like the smell of the hospital. No. Hospitals smell like shit. Sometimes jam sponge, which is quite nice, and rotting flesh. Or stale piss. Like, hospitals don't smell good. They don't have that like sterile, like I don't know, that pink stuff that you used to drink, that kind of smell, which I kind of liked. So also, I didn't dislike my dentist, so he set me up really, and he gave me these beautiful pearly whites. They're not that pearly, but they are very straight. That wasn't his doing though, to be fair. Like, I did that on my own. That was just good genetics. And he did remove some of my teeth. One that was in the, it was a milky boy and it wouldn't come out. This is completely irrelevant, but I'm just reminiscing on, I quite liked my dentist. And I remember they had this lamp in the corner, and they had stickle bricks as well. Fucking give this video a like if you know what stickle bricks are. Anyway, I'm going a bit off track here, but what I'm saying is I had a great time. Hit and miss with an unfortunate choice of stepfathers, unfortunately. But in terms of my young 0 to 10, I would say my childhood in terms of growing up was pretty good. Oh my God, I have in my house, I have 3 bags of VHS tapes that are probably of me or something of the sort of my childhood. And I am, I'm waiting to be a bit less poor. And then I'm going to get them digitalized. And I'm very excited. Like, I've just remembered that they are there. I'm really excited because there's not many pictures of me. My mum's pictures got kind of water damaged, so I haven't seen them. And it will just be nice, I don't know what it is about nostalgia. I guess if you hated your past, then what would you have to live for? You'd be like, well, the past was shit, the present's shit, and the future's gonna be shit, so what's the fucking point? I think it's your brain's way of protecting you, being like, let's carry on, pass on your genes, and then you can die a bit later on once you've passed your genes on. Thank you. So yeah, it was difficult though. Like, everything's difficult. Life is difficult. We can't say that life isn't difficult. But there were different difficulties. It was like if you were going to meet up with somebody now, you would message them until the moment you met them, pretty much. Whereas back then, you would meet people at people's houses quite often, actually. And you'd be like, oh, I'll knock on. That was what you'd say. I mean, that's what we would say. I'll knock on. I'll knock on at like 6. And if you're a bit late, it doesn't fucking matter. But now it's like, oh, well, I left because I didn't think you were coming, and you didn't reply. The other day, the issue is, right, I reply in my head. I don't know if anybody else does that. I have an issue where someone like sends me a message and we're like confirming plans, and then in my head they're confirmed, so I'm like, right, that's it, I can stop replying. But in their head they want me to be like, yes, I will be there at this time at this place, I have confirmed the meeting, don't worry, I will be there. But I don't do that. I don't know, I'm just like, we've talked about it, so in my head we're doing it, right? So the other day I was invited to this comedy show with this comedy group that I'm in on WhatsApp, talking about fucking notifications, constant, right? And the other day, one of the girls in there, I hope she's not listening, look, I have no hard feelings, all right? But it was, this is very pertinent to like the issue that I'm talking about. So she messaged me and said, oh, because I said, oh, I'm just a bit worried about money at the moment. Like, I don't want to commit to something if it's going to cost me money. She said, no, don't worry, it's like 2 for 10 or whatever. So I've got a 2 for 10 and so you can come for free. So I was like, okay, cool. She was like, do you want me to get the tickets then? I was like, yeah, thanks, that would be great. And then that's it. Like, I didn't, and then I said, where is it? Right? And then she sent me it and then I didn't respond. So she then took that as I'm not coming, and I was like, I'd agreed. I said, yeah, thanks, I will, what exactly did I say? Let's find out. Talking about notifications, there's one right there. Oh my God, my WhatsApp, I've got currently 8 chats. We're gonna get onto it a bit later, but okay, here we go. On the 8th, so the event was on a Monday, right? So on Monday the 5th, she messaged me and said, hi, how are you? I said, yeah, good, thanks, how are you? She said, just wanted to make sure you felt included. You want to come on to the event on next Monday? And I said, yeah, I just don't have any money. It seems like the events are costing money, so I'm just holding off for a bit. And she said, some of them are free, but not the Monday one, though for Monday one there is a deal if we are 5, so if you come, you don't need to pay anything. And I said on Sunday, hi, I just realised I forgot to reply, am I still able to come, right? Please comment down below if you think that, what did you take from this conversation, okay? And she said, of course you are, I'll get our tickets. And that was at Monday at 10:30, so the event was at 7. And I said, thanks, smiley face. So she said, of course you are, I'll get our tickets. I said, thanks, smiley face, do you have the event details again? So she sent them 4 minutes later, here, and just said here, And that I didn't respond after that. In my head, it was confirmed. I looked at it, I thought, right, it's at 7, I'll meet them there at 7. And then at 17:50, so 10 to 6, she said, hi, I take it you're not coming this evening? ? And an hour later, because I was getting, I was like gonna go, I said, yeah, I'll be there. But it was too late because I hadn't replied at 6 o'clock. The event was happening at 7. She said, sorry, Dawn, I bought the ticket and didn't hear from you. So I asked a friend to come so it wouldn't be wasted. And I said, oh, okay, no worries. Like, I wasn't that bothered, to be honest. Like, I was going to go, but I was going to be late by, well, no, actually, doors opened at 7. So it wasn't like I was going to be late. I said, okay, no worries. I assumed you knew I was coming. Have a good evening, though. And then she says, sorry, you didn't confirm and I didn't want the ticket to go to waste. I fucking did, lady. I confirmed. Let me just read this again, okay? This section. Am I still able to come? Of course you are. I'll get our tickets. I didn't then say, no, I can't come. Oh, no, I'm not sure if I'm going to be there. I said, thanks. Do you have the event details again? That, in my head, is me confirming. I have confirmed. I've said thanks. Thank you for getting our tickets. What more do you want me to say? I don't know. I'll see you there, I guess. I could have said that after she sent the event details. But, like, just because I didn't reply to the message, my ticket was given away. And I was like I say, I'm really not that bothered. Like, I was going to go, but I'm not going to shed any tears about it. But it's like, I was like, why does it mean nothing anymore? When I was, 10, you'd say, I'll meet you at 6. And that was it. You fucking went. And if you didn't, well, that person was never going to know that you weren't going to turn up. So you went. And you didn't need to send like 5 million messages to confirm that you were going to be there. Maybe I'm overreacting, okay? Maybe I was unreasonable. Let me know. I don't know, because in my head I'd confirmed, right? So there we go. I don't need to keep going on about it. It's opened for interpretation, and maybe I need to be more clear. But I'm not glued to my fucking phone all the time. Once I've confirmed something for that evening or whenever, I put my phone down and I get on with my life. That's it. I'm not reading it constantly because I just don't care. I don't want to be messaging people all the time. And you should see how many fucking notifications how many emails do I have right now? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay, I have in total 20 unread emails and I check them every fucking day. So many. I just opened one. I leave a few unread because otherwise I'll forget they exist. On my text messages, I have one unread message, which I've just read. On my phone, I have 3 unread voicemails and 2 missed calls. And on my WhatsApp, I've got 8 chats with 17 unread messages, 2, 1, 1, 12, 2, 1, 1. And then I've got some in my archived, which 15 and 1. Like, I just can't keep up with it. So I'm not gonna, I just can't be on it constantly. And I'm just exhausted with how many fucking notifications I have and how many people I have to message. I just can't do it. And then I get letters as well. Is it just me that can't fucking cope with it all? The thing is, I've learned to be less bothered by it. I'm not like, oh my God, sometimes when I was younger, I used to be bothered about reading all of them or, responding to all of them, or I would, when you had Snapchat and you would be like, oh, I need to watch all of the stories, or I need to, sorry, there was something on the screen that was kind of annoying, or I need to, watch all of open them all just because I can't have the notifications there. I am done. I'm just like, whatever, I leave it. Because I just, in my head, I'm like, I just don't have the time, right? Or I guess I do, but you've got the time for everything, realistically, haven't you? If you make time for it. But I don't have the botherance is the word I'm going to use. It's not even a fucking word, but I just don't care. I'm not bothered by it. I CBA, to be honest. I CBA. So I'm really bad. I'm sorry to everyone who is left on unread, but the problem is if I read it, I forget and I don't respond. So you're actually in a better position if you are left on unread. Okay, so don't be offended, friends and family. That is just the way I roll. I also have notifications turned off on like almost everything. Facebook, Instagram, because can you imagine if I was getting notifications? And sometimes Facebook is really naughty and it sends you notifications for stuff that you literally don't give a shit about just to keep your attention. And because they know that people will, if they see a notification, they want it read, right? So my notifications on my phone are turned off for everything except calls, FaceTimes. I don't even know if you can turn it off for those two, but whatever. And iMessages and only Etsy messages. So like when people message me on Etsy, and WhatsApp, and that's it. Like those ones literally, and some calendar notifications because I literally would forget otherwise. I only have the useful ones, and then all the email junk that I get, I pretty much, I keep on top of it. I unsubscribe to everything that is not useful. So everything that I don't need is gone. Bye, it's gone. I must admit though, I haven't looked into it, but it's probably going to be quite significant that the kind of mental health impact of having notifications constantly bothering you. And you kind of get to a point where you're like, I remember I used to be... Sorry about that short interlude. The fucking camera battery died. I don't understand it. It literally goes from like full to dead without me even noticing. I don't understand it. It's like, I checked it at halfway and then suddenly it was dead. So who knows if that's saved? It's very hit and miss. Who knows? So... I used to be bothered by it. I used to be like, oh my God, I haven't got any notifications. Like, nobody cares about me. And I have completely changed my tune from that. I think because I've got so many notifications, but if I don't, also I have a lot turned off. So that helps, because it's like, well, I probably do have notifications somewhere and I just can't see them because I don't turn them on. Sometimes I just want to be left alone, I just want to be left alone, but you just can't be because people expect a response from you, often within 24 hours. And I think I'm kind of setting the precedent for myself and being like, you probably won't get a response from me within 24 hours. And if you do want one, you're going to have to go about it a different way, If you need a response from me within a certain time frame, often I can read them and be like, and know what the content is. So it's like I know whether it requires an urgent response or, if I'm meeting that person tomorrow, I'll obviously respond. Or, if I'm meeting them today, I'll obviously make sure that they're bumped up the priority list. And because I usually, what I do is I sit down and I read all of my notifications at once. So maybe once in the day, once in the morning and once in the evening. And apart from that, I don't check it. I just don't look because I'd be constantly looking, wouldn't I? So I guess that's one way you can tackle it, is just to have not set times, but just you don't need to be like looking at it constantly. And if you're sad that nobody has messaged you, you need to really reconsider your priorities, because are you really living like in the moment, or are you living for, if I get 17 notifications, that doesn't mean I'm more popular. It just means that I'm in a fucking group chat, or so loads of group chats that some of them I don't really need to be in, but I don't want to leave them and then have to be like, can I come back, please? So what I do is I turn them on silent. And there's a really great feature now on WhatsApp, which has been there for a while, but they've changed it because what you could do before was archive WhatsApp messages, and then they would disappear from your like front page. Now what they do is you can but the problem was that when they messaged you again, it would come out of the archive and you'd be like, well, I didn't ask for this. So what they've changed it to now is you archive it, but even if they message you, it still stays in the archive, and you do get like a tiny notification, like, but it's not like a blue like dot notification at the top. It's it just says archived and then says like 2. So I've got 2 chats in my archived that have notifications on. And it just takes it away from that like home screen, because there are some group chats that you're not going to be like regularly on, but you don't want to leave because you might need them in the future. And that sounds really like crafty, but one of them for me is like one of the medic chats at work. It's like if I'm not working for that team, I don't need notifications from them. It's just another thing to read. So I put it in there because I might go back, you know. I also turn almost all of my group chats are on mute forever, not just for like a week. No, they're on mute forever because I don't want notifications for them. The only ones I want notifications for are individual people. So if my friend messages me, I know, and that's it. That's all I want. In terms of, I'll always unsubscribe from marketing emails unless it's something that I really want to know when there's something new coming out, which is rare. Like, there are only probably a few things that I keep the marketing emails going for. And I guess there's some merit in having multiple email addresses. Maybe one that you that you sign up to things for, but you don't receive emails into, and you can use that, you know, when they want your marketing details. But the issue with that is sometimes I've had emails being sent into those email addresses, and people, you know, because they've got that email on the account, and then you just miss stuff. So to be honest, I always give them my true email address, and then I just unsubscribe or block them if I don't want to hear from them. I tell you what though, to look after yourself nowadays, you really got to be like fucking savage. Like, I might sound savage and just be like, yeah, I'll block them. It's not like I'm not blocking individual people, I'm blocking like companies. And yeah, I just want a simpler life. I really do. And it can be really hard to get rid of that. And what I've done on my work emails is I do put, I aim to respond within 24 hours, but if I don't and it's urgent, then you can, like, please text me, because I don't read my emails all the time, especially if I'm off. And a really good thing that you can do is put on a I'm out of office automatic response, so that you know that people aren't going to be like pissed off at you for not responding. And that's the problem, is I don't care, it's other people that care. Other people want a response from me quickly, and I get it. Like, some things you do want a quick response for, you know, if there's an appointment coming up or they need to confirm things well in advance, but a lot of the time it's like, leave me alone, please. I just want to go back to simpler times. I am really trying to simplify my life as much as I can at the moment. I have reduced my upload schedule. It used to be 3 times a week on my YouTube channel, and now I'm just, you know, I'm loosely doing once a week, because I found that 3 times a week the quality was shit, and also it's just too stressful. So just simplify your life as much as you can. Like, does it need to be as stressful as it is? And I could do probably a whole episode about simplifying my life. I've done, you know, I'm always trying, but it's very hard because other things creep in, or it's hard to get rid of some stuff. And yeah, it is really difficult. I had a weird thought just to finish up, but I've completely forgotten what it was, and I was like, oh, I need to remember this for my weird thoughts section. This is why I have to write them down, because there's so much going on. I'm not a forgetful person in terms of like facts, but I am a forgetful person in terms of I have a lot of things going on in my brain, and if I don't write something down that's like, you know, I haven't tried to commit to memory, it will just fly straight back out. So I think that's what's happened here. I don't think I've got a weird weird thought. I've literally been sitting here thinking for 2 minutes. I'm not fucking joking. Literally 2 minutes. Thinking like, what could I say? And I've come up with some, but they're not really that weird. What I would like to know, actually, and I am finding kind of weird, is where is all my burp coming from? I feel like I can't swallow that much air, so is something producing the air inside of my stomach? Like, I don't understand it. Where is all this gas coming from? I am burping enormous amounts, and it's like, is there some kind of gas forming ball inside of my stomach? Is it coming from food? Is it like, am I swallowing air and just not realizing it? Where is it coming from? So that's my weird thought for the day. I had a really shit day yesterday and I was sick, like physically vomiting, and I played tennis today, so I'm having a much better day and I'm really feeling nice and snuggly on the sofa. So yeah, the burping, is because I'm not that well, or maybe I'm not that well, so I am burping, or maybe that's the same thing. So yeah, there we go. That was a very pointless sentence, but yeah, there we go. I just said that twice. Oh, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I do love podcasting. I don't know what it is. I just love sitting down and chatting. I really feel like I'm having a conversation with you, and I hope you feel that way too. I've got loads of interesting things to cover, and yeah, I'd love to hear some feedback from you guys. I always say this, I really do love hearing from you in the comments. Just let me know what you thought. Just a thought, let me know what you were thinking. Do you miss lack of notification life like me? Also, yeah, I have, let me get this is my little notepad. I'm really vibing. I think because I'm becoming like, I'm regressing into an old lady. I'm really loving pen and paper at the moment. It's just really my thing. So yeah, I have all my ideas on pen and paper. I don't know what it is. I just like it. It just feels right, So I've got I did approaching 30 the other day. 30 years old, babies. I might do one on why everybody's getting married still, because I'm a bit like, is there any point? But we could get into that. I have no idea what that says, but I actually can't read my writing. Weddings are confusing. Never leaving the house. I do have a little bit of a problem with when I go back home, I just don't leave the house. All the times I've hallucinated, lying, something I got into kind of recently. It's like a new trend of mine. Joking. Well, kind of not. America scares me. I do want to do an episode on this. I don't know really how well it fits into my podcast niche, but I'm vibing it. I have wanted to go to America for a while and I am a bit scared of it. So that's that one. This is a bit of a random one, but abortions. Why don't we look after ourselves? I chronically don't look after myself, and that's kind of why I do my channel, and because I value the importance of looking after myself, and sometimes it's very easy to let it go. So why don't we? Why does life feel so complicated? And stupid things. I've been writing down all the stupid things I did when I was younger, ranging back from the time that I remember, so about 10 until, well, not that I don't remember things before that, but I think I started to do stupid things at about 10 years old. So from 10 until now, because I do still do stupid things, and I thought that would be funny. I've got some really good tampon stories. I was also maybe going to do one about queefing. If you don't know what queefing is, it's fanny farting. Yeah, so fuck me, I've got loads of fun stuff. Yeah, so let me know if you fancy any of those, or if you've got any other suggestions. Please write them in the comments down below. I'm well up for hearing them. I've always got a lot to say. I'm literally fucking rambling on right now. So anyway, thanks guys for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. I love being part of your life, and I hope that you love having me as part of your life as well. And if you haven't subscribed, then you could do that would be real nice. Then you wouldn't miss out on the episodes, and also it's just it's just nice for me, I guess, because it just creates a nice little community, and yeah, there we go. But you also don't have to, but you know, I have to say at the end, I have to say, you know, it'd be nice if you subscribed, because you just got to ask people to do things. I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I do upload every Monday and Thursdays, and I do have my other escapades on my YouTube channel happening. If you want to listen on the go, then you can literally type in my podcast name, Backseat Positivity, onto Spotify or Apple Podcast or anywhere you stream podcasts, because you might want to listen to me in the car. You might not want to sit down and watch the whole video. You might want to listen to me whilst you're doing your chores. You might want to listen to me. Apparently no one ever wants to listen to me going to sleep whilst they're going to sleep. So that made me quite sad. But if you do listen to me while you go to sleep, I'd love to know, because apparently I sound like a foghorn, so no one would ever do that. But if someone does it, please tell me, because then I can tell my friend Izzy, who says no one would ever do it. Okay, I'm rambling. Bye. Love you, love you, love you, love you.